welcome back to another video, and today I am bringing you the ultimate guide to fairycore. Now this video was such highly requested in the comments of my ultimate guide to kidcore, so if you want any other themes covered, let me know in the comments and I will be sure to cover them. Today we're going through fairycore. I've absolutely loved making this little thing for you guys. Turns out I really like fairycore. Turns out I'm falling in love with every single theme I'm doing, which is a bit of an issue, but anyway, moving forward. Let's get straight into this. I do have a couple of things to cover before I get started, so let's go through those first. So before we get started, I've got a couple of points to say. One is that every single person who I have used the image of their island, I have asked for permission first and got full permission to use every single image. The custom designs I'm showing you, I haven't gone directly to the custom design person, but I have made sure I include their Instagram or Twitter, so I am making sure that person's getting credited for it. And some of these images do have filters and effects over the top of them, so if an island looks particularly amazing, please bear in mind that it could have a filter or an effect over the top. On Instagram, that is just something that lots of people do, and I'm not saying there's anything against it, but I'm just warning you that could be why the island looks incredible compared to yours. That's because it has a filter over the top of it. But anyway, so I'm sure you can just ignore that and just still look at the foundations of the island, which is incredible anyway. What will we go through in this video? So we'll start off with the basics of fairycore, colours, Instagram accounts, etc. Next we'll look at fairycore areas for your island, as I know this can be something that lots of you struggle with. I know it's really hard and it's quite overwhelming when you start a theme to kind of think about this massive island you have to fill. So we've got some fairycore islands to include on your island. What items will work on fairycore? I've literally just chucked a load of items on a page for you to kind of just look through in your own time and kind of decipher which ones would work on your island. And custom design codes. So there's a couple of custom design codes on there just to give you a starting point. We have paths, we have little extras for your island as well, so hopefully that will be really helpful. So let's start with the basics. Now, what is fairycore? Fairycore is an aesthetic surrounding the theme of nature, soft pastels, butterflies, magic, flowers, soft animals, and the vibe of springtime. And the colour palette I've used here is quite an array of colours. We've got pinks, yellows, greens, purples, blues, and actually red. I wouldn't suggest using too much red, but again, this is your island and you can do whatever you like. But yeah, I think just a range of really light colours works on fairycore, but actually all the colours work, and that's one of the best parts about fairycore. And these are the 5 Instagram accounts that I've approached, and they've given me full permission to use any of their imagery on this video. So yeah, go check these out, but go check it out at the end because I'd really love the support on this video. That would be amazing. Like and subscribe. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we've got areas for your island. So again, I know this can be really hard and quite overwhelming when you first get started on your island. So what I've done is I've broken it down into 4 areas. We have little seated areas, pretty terraforming areas, rock gardens / fairy areas, and picnic areas. So if we start off with the little seated area here, I'm not talking about massive seated restaurants, although that would definitely work on this island. Right now I'm just talking about really simple, tucked away peaceful areas, such as this one where you've got the rose bed, you've got the swinging bench, you've got the log bench with the books. I think just an array of different types of bench would really work on a fairycore island, and you can kind of surround it with flowers, really brighten the area up, put some nova lights on the floor, some tulips around, and I think it will look amazing. And don't forget about those statues as well with your seating areas and the trees. Overall, I'm just saying putting everything around a bench, but actually I think the more of everything you put around areas on fairycore, the better it looks. Well, at least that's my opinion anyway. Next up is pretty terraforming areas. Now, that's quite a general thing to say, but what I mean is I think that on a fairycore island, the attention is to the detail. So the more water, the more terraforming, the more waterfalls you have, the better it looks basically. Again, just my opinion, but I quite like having lots of waterscaping around and waterfalls kind of leading into that. It makes the area feel really peaceful and almost like you are in a fairy wonderland. You know, fairies wouldn't stay on one flat surface, they'd be going up and down, jumping off little buildings. So yeah, I think for me, fairycore is full of pretty terraforming areas. Now, I'm not saying you need to have massive areas just for terraforming, but just reasonable sized chunks that have terraforming, because really you need a large area to do terraforming, can really work, and actually can be a really good use of space. And you can have a little walk through, you can have little stepping stones. I think just really be creative with your terraforming. Don't hold back and just let your mind just do whatever it wants to do, and sometimes that can be the best way to terraform. So next up is rock gardens / fairy areas. Now this is a standard, I feel like, for a fairy core island. Is your island fairy core if you don't have a fairy circle or garden rock circle? I don't know, maybe it is. But so far on every single fairy core island I've seen, it's included one of these. Now what I think is really great is you can include your rocks on your island and make a little circle, but I know that some people can get really overwhelmed with the amount of time that can take, although it did only take me about 2 hours, which in the grand scheme of how long I've played the game, I would recommend it, and it was great fun to do deep down. I enjoyed doing it deep down, even though it was hard. And then the end product, I had a little square of rocks, but that's not what you're going to be doing here. Hopefully, if you want to do it in a circle, you'll make it in a little circle. But anyway, and then you can have tree stumps, bushes, plants, all in a little circle. And again, that just gives the real fairy vibe of just sitting in a circle as little fairies. I'd recommend adding flowers, mushrooms. You can add benches around there. You can just as much as possible, almost crammed in. Nova lights, star fragments. Just really go for it and don't hold back. Think about what it will look like during the day. Think about what it will look like during the night, because fairy islands will be lit up and colourful at night. So make sure you use all those crescent moon chairs, all those mushroom lights, and try and get as much in as possible. And I really think that will help you to create this amazing little rock garden or fairy area. And don't forget about flooring. I try to include little custom designs to the floor, such as flowers or pebbles, or just a little pathway leading around the whole of your island. Can really make the difference and can really set the tone for your island. And last but not least, on fairy core areas for your island, I have done a picnic area. Now, this can be interpreted however you like. This could be a little seated area. It doesn't have to be a picnic. It doesn't have to include teddy bears. It can include whatever you like. So on one of them, we've got tables. Another one, we've got a blanket. Another one, we've got actually a bigger seated area. So what I like about the table is the fact that they've put the bears down and the pandas down as well. I think that's really cute, and added some chairs as well, so you can actually sit down at the table. There's some coffee cups there as well, just to kind of finish it off and make it feel really realistic and really fun. And then on the next one is actually custom designed flooring with a picnic blanket and some cushions. This is super cute, this is super simple, and I really recommend doing this a lot on your fairy core island, as there's nothing better than just taking a seat next to some water, next to some chairs, and whatever it is. I'd really recommend it, and I think this is a really good way to make sure you have that fairy theme running the whole way through your island. And last but not least is the bigger picnic area that we've got here with the floor seats, and again custom design flooring, making a bigger picnic bench. Now I love this. I haven't seen a picnic bench as large as this one, so I just had to include it. I think it looks great, and it encourages you to bring your friends around and have a cute little photo. It's right next to the campsite. It's got lots of plants all around it, lots of different flowers, trees, crescent moon chairs, and I just absolutely love this little area as well. So that just shows the difference in picnic areas and what it can mean to you. So whatever one you're drawn to, go for it. See how big you want to make your picnic blanket or your table. I think the best way to do a fairy core island is just to do it and then think about it afterwards. Think about it in the details afterwards, but when you're planning it out, just go with your gut and just do whatever you want to do. So that summarises the fairy core areas for your island. Now don't get me wrong, there is hundreds of little areas you can add to your island, but these are just the ones that I think would really get the ball rolling for your fairy core brain as such. Next we have items which will work on fairy core. Now I literally said I've just plonked a load of items down on this page. Feel free to pause it, look through, come back, and yeah, this will hopefully just really get you going with what types of items you want on your islands. Now don't get me wrong, there is hundreds of more items than this that probably would suit better the ones that I've listed here, but these are the items that I haven't seen much of in any imagery I've used, or I have and it's not been obvious what they are. So for example, the log bench could be really overlooked, but actually that's a staple for FairyCore. Or the iron chair, again, staple for FairyCore. Or the rattan low table. You know, it's all just staples, and especially the garden gnomes. I definitely use those. But yeah, hopefully this will help you. Feel free to put any other item ideas in the comments below and help your friends out who are also trying FairyCore as well. I think we're all in this together, and this is such a good Animal Crossing community. So let us know what other items you used on your island in the comments below. And last but not least, we have custom design codes. Now, on my other Ultimate guide, I included a lot more custom design codes, but I wanted to make sure that I had a variety here, but I was crediting the people for it, and it's quite hard to find who actually created some of the custom design codes that are out there on the internet. But anyway, these are the ones that I found that I really liked. So looking at this top one here, this is for, the top left is for pebbles. So I actually thought this would be really great around a rock area or just randomly on your island. That kind of top row there, you can just dot them around. It would just give that FairyCore pebble kind of theme, you know, like fairies jumping over all the different pebbles. And the top right, far more colourful, more bright colours, pink colours, and yeah, I think the little hearts would be really cute again for just dotting around. There isn't any major pathway going on here. These top two are mainly just for dotted areas, so just finish it off as such, because you can have a path on your island, but sometimes the island feels complete once you've filled up more of those little gaps. Now, bottom left, this creator made a pathway, some kind of pebbles and dotted around areas, and actually a pond. So the butterfly is a pond, which I think is just awesome. And also the path on the right there of this 3 is something that I've seen on a lot of FairyCore islands, so I'd really recommend using this one. And again, just to finish it off and all keeping this little theme here, we have some pebbles and some little flower petals on the floor as well. So yeah, that'll fill up all those little areas that you don't know what to put stuff on. That I'd really recommend that if you're struggling with little gaps that you just don't feel like would look right with an item or don't fit an item, I'd recommend putting some of those down. And these last 2 on the right here, again, are pathways, but they're quite different. One's more of a brick pathway and one's just more of a dirt pathway, but doesn't look like dirt at all. I like both of these. I think these are amazing and would work for such different personality types. But yeah, I love using brick pathways as much as I love using dirt pathways. So I don't know which one I'd recommend out of these ones. Probably both. But yeah, sometimes it's good to have 2 completely different pathways on one island, just to kind of give it that bit of depth and not feel like you're repeating yourself so much. So maybe one area could be the brick flooring and the other area could be the dirt flooring. I quite like that. I think that's quite cool. So there we are. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Hopefully this gave you some inspiration to create your FairyCore island. Now, this is the ultimate guide to FairyCore. And if you're still struggling, then I do have another FairyCore guide video, which I will link in the description below. So that might really help you if this doesn't help you already. And shout out to my amazing channel members. You are absolute legends. Thank you so much for always supporting me, and I am forever grateful. And I cannot wait to beat you all in America again very soon. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. And this is the ultimate guide to FairyCore, and I really hope this helped you. Please do like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you have on your FairyCore island and what you liked about this video, and if you checked out any of the Instagram accounts that I've used. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in another video. Bye.